You want to end it? Okay. Do you want to do it now or after?
If you want, I wanted to reword the question you asked me about.
Yeah.
Like, it was like organically or not.
Okay. Okay. Let's do it right now. So we were talking about being more organic and finding people and how you break into the industry. So tell me a little bit about that.
I believe life is all about doors opening and closing, and I think every door open and closes for a reason. And when you're on the right path and you're actually being your true self and you're involving like yourself like in whatever like feeds your like heart and your like soul, whether like I said it's fashion, art, culture, or managing a restaurant or whatever it may be, being a doctor. If you're doing what you're meant to be and your soul is aligned with where your heart is, I feel that everything starts to really fall into place. And that's the best advice that I could really give anybody, is to follow your heart and your soul and your gut, and not always your mind, because your mind doesn't always give you all the right answers.
I love that. Concise, perfect. I love that. So when did you find that out? Did you have to do that after a couple trials and errors? How did that happen with you?
I moved out when I was about 17. I didn't have the best family environment growing up, so I had to learn very quickly and mature very quickly as to how to adapt and survive and live and make connections with people. I know you asked me that question earlier as well. It's always come natural to me. I don't really know how I do it. I just am very good at feeling energy, positive or negative vibes, and reading people and who they are, and I can pretty much instantly connect with just about anybody and understand who they are as a person and talk to them. Even if I may not agree with them, I can still understand them.
That's awesome. And you know what? I think that's a perfect connection to the guy that I'm sitting right now. Next to right now. You were talking about connections. How do you know the person right now? First of all, who are you?
Well, I'm Juan. I'm a photographer here in Phoenix, Arizona, and Scottsdale. I've been doing photography for the past 5 years, maybe. Okay. It started like more professional after a year. I started back in 2011. But I just been since then. I met some great people. I think I'll mention a great name here in the Valley, Oscar de las Salas. He was the one that kind of invited me to one of these fashion shows back in 2011. And I was studying photography back then. And I was more into the nature photography. Then he's like, yeah, I've seen your photos. I'm like, I had no idea where. Probably Facebook. And then he's like, well, I have a show if you want to come in and just photograph. I don't mind. And from there, I kind of went towards the artistic fashion of it. And then looking at what designers were doing, it opened definitely my mind a lot in terms of the fashion shows, models, designers, singers, any kind of artist, which I fell in love with. And up to this day, I photograph people that kind of have that touch of life. They have the life grasp on their hands artistically, because that opens a window, I believe, to people. They see, they feel, and, they hear art. So that's where I think that's where I started in those years. I bought my camera when I was going to have a Supai Falls. I'm like, I gotta get some great shots, and I got kind of interested in photography, and that's how I started. Then I met some people, and from there I started kind of, I think, growing in the community.
Now, growing in that community and everything, how do you pick your projects? Do you have to do certain ones, or do you go with only passion projects? What goes on?
Juan, hey, sorry, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing?
Because it was supposed to be upstairs, and now everything's happening in the lobby, so they want us to kind of go. So,
okay.
I just want to kind of get shots like out here. Yeah, I didn't expect this weather.
Yeah.
It would
Oh
be
yeah.
on
I
my
know.
shoot though, right? But it's still gonna be amazing, and in Jesus' name it will be done.
No, it will be.
Yeah, well, it has to be because it's me. And it takes over.
So we're just gonna start in a little bit, or
30 minutes the cars will be
In
the
30
the
minutes?
ringing.
all right.
So,
Yeah. Go ahead.
I
I
forgot.
Do you want the rest of her drink? I guess she's not drinking it.
It's free.
mimosa. Mimosa hermosa.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hermosa.
So you different projects. How did you start picking the different projects, the vision of it, everything?
So, projects back then, I was trying to get experience. So, by going to fashion shows, some events. Cheers.
Meeting new people.
Yes. Meeting people like makeup artists, hairstylists, designers.
Let me ask you something. So a lot of people, how do you have a team, right? Hairstylists and everything. Do you guys all kind of get together and kind of refer one another for a different project? How does that work out?
I think it might work in two different scenarios. One, a photographer might already have a team. He puts together a team, and that's all he will use for every of his photo shoots. They probably get together. They discuss the concept, the artistic view, what it needs to be done, makeup, hair, and all that stuff. Another, if it's another project that you tend to work with different people, then you go and talk to those people, like they have certain style that you want, and you pick these people and then you bring the team together, and then they start doing a project. Then for your next project, someone else might have different artistic view, so then you put up another team. So yeah, but yes, you talk to people, to the artist, to the hairstylist, makeup artist, and then you start putting your team together to accomplish the photo shoot.
How would you describe your style when you're trying to capture the soul of that person? What would you, in a concise way, how would you explain your style?
My style is sometimes very, what's the word? Spontaneous?
Spontaneous?
Spontaneous. Mm-hmm. I often sometimes tell the models, hey, think of a scenario, if like James Bond, think of that kind of stuff. You're an actor, you're acting. So get into that role, then just let me do the work. I often like to get them into doing something, action, something that tells the viewer, oh, she's running, or she's doing this, or, advertising a watch, with fears, So my style is more spontaneous at times. I feel I don't constrict too much. I feel like some other photographers might do, in terms of do this. At times I do have to, but I like to go along.
When you have that spontaneous nature, can you remember a time that you weren't planning to shoot it a certain way, but because it changed, because you changed it like that, it was one of your best shots or something like that?
Okay, here's one. Yeah, a perfect example. And I'll show you the photograph. But that was a photo shoot that we had, and I had with fashion stylist Victor Navarro, which we were photographing the designs of Arturo Valdez, a fashion designer in Mexico, in Hermosillo. And we were shooting the editorial story in the desert. Beautiful red dresses. A little bit of see-through kind of clothing. Spontaneous happened when the cloud formed into a heart on top of this model. And then I saw it just like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to keep shooting. And I shot like 5 photographs, and I think it was the second or third in the middle where the heart was shaped perfectly, the model was shaped perfectly. I know Victor was yelling at her, do this, it's like, and it happened. Something that we were not expecting, but it became a great image, and it's definitely one of my greatest images in my portfolio. But yeah, that would be one of them. And sometimes the other ones I plan, and then there's a great image that comes out. But that's how sometimes it goes.
When you're in that moment, when you just see the heart shape, is everyone else around you noticing the same thing, or are you in your zone that you're like, oh, no, I need to, is everyone else around you cognizant of this is a really special, spontaneous moment, or are you interpreting it and you're forming the moment with your camera?
Yeah, sometimes it does, but I've noticed too, everybody's in their own world. That's what I have to, sometimes when I work with a stylist, I have to be very communicative, because they could be having a total different view from what I have. But I'm seeing it, so I'm shooting because I'm seeing it, but they're like, okay, Juan, do this and do that. I'm like, okay, we'll get it. And then, we'll get the moment that they want to, but I think everyone, sometimes they are in their own world when we're having these photo shoots. and it can turn into a little bit of chaos, I think, sometimes, because everybody's not on the same page. But yes, I get sometimes so caught up in getting the image and getting something different that I will often maybe ignore some of the yelling that's going on in the background.
That's funny. So we're here right now. You're about to be on a photo shoot, right? So how many different photographers are here?
I'm not sure, actually, because I just got an email last night, and he just explained to me what kind of was going to happen. I don't know. I think I met 3 already, but I don't know.
Do you guys all shoot at the same time, or it's like you're handling this model, the other person's or it's like you said, it's just spontaneous, we'll see what happens?
I think on this one, because I'm not too sure on the details, it will be spontaneous, which I love because sometimes I work in that way. It's do this and do that. It's like, okay, well, we'll see what comes out.
It's pretty funny because just now when I was sitting here and I was just typing away, but I love seeing energy, and I love just what's going on over here, what's going on over there. So I saw the rack of clothes. I just saw people keep piling in. We're in the front of the hotel right now. And, it's pretty interesting. So one last thing that I wanted to know from you, do you have a certain model or a certain person you continually work with over and over again? Or is it kind of, hey, if we're together, it happens?
Not at the moment. But I used to shoot a lot with this model, Maritza Cunha, which I kind of lost connection with her a while back, but it was a model that I shot a lot, and that was one of my first models. So it kind of kept going, and I have a lot of great work from her. I think the style was kind of what
Sexual,
sensual, Fiona. But no, I think it was. She was probably one of the most that I worked with back when I started. But yes, I sometimes I do have that connection with the model. It's like, you know what I'm talking about, and I know what she's talking about, and we get it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I like that. So one last question for you. I know you're busy. So where are you going to be going in the next 6 months?
Well, last year I had my first exhibition on my fine art photography on
I'm sorry, one second. You need an iPhone charger?
no, Droid charger.
Droid charger.
Because I want to charge my Mophie case. So it's ready to die. And I thought this worked. Because I have this thing, but it's for the iPhone. And then I took out the adapter thing for the Droid thing. So I'm like, I don't need it. This works.
I'm sorry.
But I was an idiot. Thank you for asking me.
No worries.
It's all good.
So you said later this year. Yeah.
Last year I did had an exhibition on fine art photography on Saguaros.
Congratulations.
Thank you. this year I'm planning another one. I don't want to throw in, I am doing it, but I'm just going to continue shooting around town, photographing, getting with some new models that I meet. We're going to have, I think, me and Fiona, a shoot, hopefully soon. We've been planning for a couple months now, but yes, in the future this year, I'll just keep shooting, planning a few. Hopefully, the gallery will happen. I think it's gonna be a community gallery, which I love. You know, you get to see many different people, different views. So I think we'll see what this year brings on. We're still early in the year, so.
Yeah, and so it sounds like a great start. We're in February, so we'd love to see what you do later on. Could you tell us where the good people can find you?
Definitely Instagram. I'm very active there. I also write a little bit of poetry. I don't even think it's poetry.
If you think it's poetry, it's poetry.
But I don't know. I sometimes like to get my guts out.
Good.
But no, they can find me there. I put my latest work there on Instagram. That is Loza Photography, Loz for zebra, A photography. I'm in a red jacket. Also Facebook, Loza Photography there, or my name Juan Loza. Twitter, Juan Loza Photo. And then definitely check this one out. I also do fine art photography in nudes. That is Juan Loza Photography / Model Society. And check my work there. That one's just a little bit of, not secretive, but not many people know. But I feel like I have really, some of the images are quite strong. And that's another topic.
For another day.
Another day. But yeah, no, definitely just type away on Google, and I'm sure you'll find something about me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.